Good evening, everyone. My name is Usman Lodi, and I would like to welcome all of you in Microsoft Post Build sessions. Microsoft is hosting Microsoft Build every year in USA, and after that, every community is hosting the Post Build up sessions. So today we are going to host the Post Build session, and in this session we are going to discuss about the data recovery, backing up on-premises data to the Microsoft Azure. Before going to the session, let me discuss about the session and let me discuss about the MCT Community Pakistan and MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room. MCT Community Pakistan is the community which is helping learners to learn Microsoft technologies. And we have the Microsoft MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room, in which we are discussing about the technical issues and future activities and Microsoft learning related things. So in the chat, I will share the Microsoft learning room links, and you can just click onto the link and register yourself into the learning room. Today we have a very wonderful guest, Ms. Gulnaz Mushtaq. Ms. Gulnaz Mushtaq is the Microsoft Certified Trainer. Along with the Microsoft Certified Trainer, she is the Microsoft Certified Regional Lead Pakistan. And I'm very pleased to say that last year she got the Microsoft Enrique Lima Award as well, which is the most prestigious tag for any MCT. And along with the Microsoft Certified Trainer and a tag, the award, she is Microsoft Learning Expert as well. Thank you, Gulnaz. Thank you very much for joining today, and over to you.
Well, thank you very much, Usman, for the wonderful introduction. Hello, everyone. As you can see on the screen, we are in Microsoft Post Build 2023 session series, and our today's topic is backing up on-premises data to Microsoft Azure Cloud, and this is the part of data protection. So this is my introduction. As you know that my name is Gulnaz Mushtaq, and I am Microsoft Certified Trainer since 2018. And I have trained hundreds of students all over the world and now serving the MCT community in Pakistan as an MCT regional lead. Also, I am a Microsoft Learning Expert and an Enrique Lima Award recipient by Microsoft. I have diversified experience in the field of information technology, and I have worked with both public and private sectors. Also, I have conducted many corporate trainings in different organizations, and as I am a community enthusiast and I am working on the development and growth of the Microsoft technology related community. Also, I took part in activating the Power BI tool, that is the kind of MCT program benefit and tool series section. And for the MCTs, what I have done that I have requested on Microsoft forums, and through that forums, I have achieved this thing. Also, I have participated in Microsoft TechNet forums, and I have experience in training in the project management, in supervisory and leadership roles, and so many other things, as you know, as you can see on the screen. As far as Microsoft technologies are concerned, my area of expertise are Azure Administration, Microsoft 365, Azure Security and Identity Management, and Microsoft Hybrid Administration. Okay, so let's discuss about that. What is Azure Backup? So basically, the Azure Backup services provide simple, secure, and cost-effective solutions that you can back up your data, your mission-critical data, and other workloads to Microsoft Azure Cloud. And as you can see in the diagram, that it is a kind of central management platform, and you can back up everything on the Azure Backup services. For example, if there are some Azure virtual machines and any other workload that is on the Azure, and also your workloads are on premises, so you can back up everything on the Azure Backup through Azure Backup services. And as I have said that it is a kind of central management platform. Okay, so why you think about the Microsoft Azure Backup? As you know that being an IT administrator of some organization, you are responsible for meeting all the data and compliance needs for your important data assets of that organization, and backup is a kind of critical task. So every time it is a kind of hassle for an administrator that how they can manage this thing, how they can do that automatically, and how in case of the disaster or if the data has been lost kind of because of any accidental uh, deletion or something like that happened, so how an administrator will recover the data. So it is a kind of mission critical task, and all the administrator that those have been through this kind of hassles. So you are looking for, in that case, for example, you are an administrator and you are looking for an enterprise class backup solution so that you can protect your workloads to some central place that is more secure and more reliable and high available. So how that Azure backup works. So we are, as our today's session is about all about the on-premises data backup facilities on the Azure. So we talk about the on-premises data. So in that case, Microsoft Azure provides you the Azure Recovery Services Vault. As you can see on the screen, that Azure Recovery Services Vault, which is also known as Microsoft Azure Recovery Services, and in short, you can say MARS as well. So you can upload your mission critical data to Microsoft Azure through those Azure Recovery Services Vault. So you can say that those vaults are kind of containers. Those will protect and save your data, and in case you lose the data in on through the on-premises servers, so no problem, you can recover the data from Azure anytime. Okay, so what are the key features for with respect to the Azure backups? Especially one of the most important feature for all the cloud platforms is that you don't need to have any infrastructure to deploy any complex infrastructures to deploy. So you don't need to spend on the capital expenditures on the physical storages. As you know that with the passage of time, those physical resources may get depreciated. So in that case, first of all, you have zero infrastructure backup solution. Also, as you know that the data is being managed by from a centralized management platform. So in that case, you can use the APIs, the graphical user interface, the PowerShell, and CLIs as well. And that is a kind of all-in-one solution. So not only the data backup is concerned, you can monitor and operate as well. Also, one of the most important factor of the Microsoft Azure is that Microsoft is spending as security is concerned. So Microsoft will provide you the built-in security features as far as data backup is concerned. So don't need to be worried about the malicious attacks and accidental deletions and ransomware attacks, etc. Okay, so without wasting any time, we have to go to the demonstration for the today's session, that is files and folders backup on Microsoft Azure Recovery Services Vault. So let me share another screen. I'm unsharing this one and I'm going to share another screen. Okay, so for example, this is your on-premises Windows server. As you can see on the screen that this is a Microsoft Windows server, and this is the part of our on-premises Microsoft Windows server. And we have a very much important data placed in on this server. And for example, there is a data drive, and we have this mission critical official data saved over here. For demonstration purpose, I am not taking too much heavy data because to save this to save our time. So I just placed a folder over here with just a file over there. This is the file one. As you can see, it says hello world message. Premise and the drive, the volume is okay, fine. So what we have to do is that in case of Azure, how do the server to Microsoft Azure to take the backup of this important data folder on the Azure? First of all, whatever the server is, this is the target server, and you have to open the portal, the Azure portal on this server. So you can say that first of all, this server should be connected to the internet, whether that is connected through the proxy or maybe the connected to directly connected with the internet. So I am opening up my Azure portal. So I'm going to search bar and typing Azure. Just wait a minute. Okay, fine. So let's open up the Azure portal over here, and I'm typing the recovery services. So here you can see the option recovery services vault. Just click on the option and you can see the first time there is no recovery services vaults displayed over here. So you have to create a recovery services vault from this option. If I click on the create button, so it will get you to the screen that would say that create this recovery services vault. First of all, select your active subscription from the account and an existing resource group, or maybe you have to create some new resource group. For this resource group is all about the data protection, something like that. So I have to create a group over here by the name data protection 1 project, for example. Okay. So what would be the vault name? For example, I give a name as data on prem, for example, right? Okay, so what is your target region? For example, I am assigning as US East my target region. So that means that I am placing my data vault in US East region. You can select your region according to your own needs and requirements. Okay, so next is vault properties. Okay, so it would say that what is this? In case one of your people that who accessing this vault, maybe they accidentally delete something. So in that case, you have to enable immutability, right? So there are so many other things are concerned. Maybe some attack, some malicious person, they get into your system by any means. So in that case, if they try to delete your data, so this will protect that from deleting that important data. Okay, fine. I'm not enabling this thing right now because going to the networking section. Okay, so you want this vault from some internet access. If, for example, this is our server, and we have connected the server through the internet so that we can get the vault access and we can put our data to the Azure. So in that case, yes, we need this one, this vault allow as public access. So click on this option and click on the tag thing. You can put any tags like type is data backup something. For example, right? So tags are totally up to you. Whatever the tags you want to mention, it's totally up to you. Okay, fine. So I want to review and create. So if you have made any mistakes, so system will let you know that this at this section you have made some mistake, and if you have not made any mistake, you have to go and create the vault. So here this is going to create you. Okay, so the vault is being created on the Azure, and this is your target server. And as you know that the data backup solutions are the part of any local servers. Local means that this is your on-premises server. It may belong to your local area network. It is a kind of virtual server on your private cloud, maybe, or maybe it may be a physical server as well. So whatever kind of server is, you can take the backup of this server, or maybe the important data of this server, to the Azure Recovery Services vault. So this is an on-premises server. So if I go to the tools section, and you can see the Windows Server backup is the part of every server machine, but it is that comes up with every server, and you can see there is no feature. The features are missing. So what you have to do is you have to install the feature. So for now, I'm not going to install any feature, because on this server, we are going to install the Microsoft Azure agent, right? So once the agent will be installed, you will see that the agent option over here. So I'm closing this one for now, and I'm going back to my Azure portal, have Azure Vault. Okay, fine. It says that now your deployment has been completed. So you have to go to the resource to have a look at that what's going on here. Okay, fine. So our target task is that we have to backup our on-premises data to this Azure Recovery Services Vault. This option which says take the backup. If I click the backup option, so first of all, Azure will ask me that which is the option you want to select. For example, where your workload is, kind of data is that, and where it is running. So if you select the option Azure, it means you have to take backup from the Azure. But our target task is we want the backup from some on-premises servers, or some on-premises, you can say the resource, right? So I am selecting the option, the on-premises. Okay, fine. So if I click the option on-premises, you can see that there are so many things that relate to the on-premises workload. For example, the workload is just files and folders, or maybe that is a kind of Hyper-V virtual machine, or maybe it is some VMware virtual machine. Maybe it is some Microsoft SQL Server, SharePoint, Exchange, system state, bare metal, etc. So in case of system state, as you know that whatever your target server is, the system, the Azure backup vault will take the backup of the successful system state to Azure Recovery Services Vault, right? But if I click on the bare metal recovery, so what Azure Recovery Services Vault will do, that it will get each and everything from the server, including all the volumes, including system state itself, including data, each and everything, and will put that to Azure Services Vault. For example, for now, as we have to select this option, files and folders, because we have a very important data folder placed on our on-premises server. So I have to click this option, files and folder. You can have, you may click multiple options at a time as well. For example, you can also click on system state, bare metal, and any other options as well. Okay, fine. I have selected one option, which is files and folder. For now, it will ask me to prepare infrastructure. Okay, so that's the reason why I have opened this portal from the server I am residing on, because it will ask you to install an agent on the target server. So that's the reason actually. So if you are going to install first time this agent for the Microsoft Windows server, so you have to click on this option. And if you already install the agent, you will go to the step number 2. For example, I don't have installed recovery services agent before that, so I have to download this option. If I click on this download agent for Windows Server, you will see that system will start downloading this small piece of file in your downloads folder. Okay, fine. If I go to the downloads folder of the same server, you can see it is a Mars get installer file. Okay, fine. For the time being, I am minimizing my Azure portal, and on this target server, I'm going to download and see the agent downloaded here, and I want to install this agent. So the installation files are running now. So setup will do everything for you. First of all, it will install the agent, then the configuration process will start, and you have to follow the on-screen instructions. For example, the agent will say that this file will be installed in the C program files, Microsoft Azure Recovery something. Keep this intact and move further. For example, click on the next button. So system will ask whether you are connected through some proxy server. If you are having the proxy server address, just mention the IP address and the port. And if you are directly connected from the internet, you don't need to click this option, right? For now, I am connected directly with the internet. So I am unchecking, keep this option unchecked and move further. Okay, so it is better to find all the updates before going further, because maybe there comes a point that you may face some difficulty while configuration. So it is better to update, to check all the updates. And I am clicking at this option and I am clicking on the next. Okay, it says that the system requires the .NET Framework 4.5 and Microsoft Windows PowerShell as well, and both options are available. That's fine. Now I am going to install this Microsoft Azure Recovery Services agent. Okay, fine. I'm clicking on the install option, and you can see that system started installation. I'm closing this background, which is downloads. Okay, fine. So the first step has been completed successfully. Now we have to proceed to registration. So what is the registration? As you know that this is our on-premises server, and we are connecting the server to the Microsoft Azure Vault. So there involves some encryption as well. So that is very much important that first of all, you have to register this server to Microsoft Azure directly, right? So before going to proceed to registration, I have to download this thing, which is called the Vault credentials, and it lasts for 10 days. And after 10 days, these credentials will be expired. So it is recommended to use them before the expiry, right? And if you did not use any credential and you did not register your server, so you have to go to the step 2 later on. Okay, you already downloaded and installed the agent. Now I am clicking this option and I'm downloading my credentials. And probably have been it has been downloaded in my downloads folder. And if I check my downloads folder, you will see the credentials over here, right? Okay, fine. Now we proceed to registration. So the system is asking me about the credentials. So I am going to browse in the download folder, clicking the credentials and opening them up. And you can see that your Azure subscription and other things are over here. And I'm going to next. Okay, fine. So backups are encrypted to protect the confidentiality of your data. So it is better to generate some passphrase, and this passphrase will be linked directly to your data through the Azure Recovery Services Vault. And you should keep this passphrase to you only. And it is recommended that you should save this passphrase for the future needs, so that in case there happens some disaster or something else happen, so you should not lost this passphrase. So in that case, it is recommended that you should save it to some secure place. For now, I am generating this passphrase. Okay, fine. Here, system will ask me to save it to some secure location. For now, I am just for demonstration purpose, I am saving in my same system in my profile documents folder, which is not recommended, but I'm just doing this for demonstration purpose. So it is recommended to save it to some secure location. Okay, fine. So I am saving the passphrase and I am finishing up my task. So again, system will ask you to save the passphrase, so that if some ransomware attacks happen, so you have to have this passphrase so that you can get the data from the Azure Services Vault. Okay, fine. For now, I want to continue and I'm clicking on the yes option. So your server is getting registered with the Azure Backup Services. So one it's registered, so then we will working on the data backup things, that how many options are there to backup some data, because there are two different options to backup a data. First option is that you just put some schedule on data so that the system will automatically backup your workload to Azure. And the another option is that you can get the backup at any point of time. So both options are there. So, but recommended one is that you should make some schedule and get the data with some specific schedule, and following some specific schedules, you can get the backup how many times in a day. So usually, as this is Azure Cloud, and you know that you have to retain data, and you have to Azure will charge you as per the retention rules are concerned. So there are options to get the data backed up on Azure Vaults 3 times a day. And also there are so many other options as well, that you can get weekly backups as well, yearly backups as well, monthly backups as well. Okay, fine. So our process has been completed, and now this option has been checked. It says launch Microsoft Azure Recovery Services agent. Okay, by closing this window, you can see that this is Microsoft Azure Backup Recovery Services agent installed over here. The same thing you will see over here in Server Manager dashboard in the Tools section in Microsoft Server Backup, which is the built-in utility in all the Microsoft servers. You can see over here this thing. If I click on this thing, it says Microsoft Azure Backup. So this is the same capability that has been introduced in the Windows Server Backup. Okay, fine. For example, first of all, you have to make some schedule for your backups. So how would we do that? Click on schedule backup. So it will, the system will give you some instruction. Okay, fine. Go to the next option. So what are your workload? What are the items you have to add to backup? As you know that we just only selected files and folder types. So the system will only give you the option for the files and folder, right? So I would select which is my target folder, or maybe the target data, or maybe the whole volume as well. So I am selecting a specific data folder over here. Maybe it is a complete data folder, or maybe there's a kind of subfolder as well, or maybe a specific object as well. So in my case, for example, this whole folder is very much crucial for me, right? So I have selected this whole option. Okay, fine. I'm clicking next. Here, it will ask whether you have to take backup on daily basis or maybe the weekly backups as well. If I click on the option daily basis, so system will give you about 3 iteration, 3 times a day. So I can select my time as well. For example, in the morning, it will be taken at 8 a.m. and then in the afternoon, maybe at 3:30 p.m. and then in the evening, maybe at 7 p.m., right? So these are not a kind of fast rules. You can select as per your own scenarios, as per your own requirements. Okay, I'm clicking on the option next. So also, not only daily retention policies, you may have other policies as well. For example, you have selected the daily retention policies. So the iteration is like a 3 times a day. So how many days your data will be retained? So it's totally up to you. For example, you want to have for the 90 days or 3 months, it's totally up to you. You want to have another policies as well. For example, I don't need yearly policy. I don't need monthly maybe, or maybe I need weekly retention policy. So in week, how many days? For example, system will by default selecting the Saturdays. I can modify my days accordingly. For example, I don't need Saturdays. I need some days like Monday and Friday, for example, and I click on OK. And do you want to have all these backups, 3 days backup in Monday and Friday? It's totally up to you. Maybe you just want the backup of 7 p.m. and the backup of 8 a.m. For how many weeks you want to retain? For example, I just need for 4 weeks, maybe, right? So this would be a kind of weekly retention policy. Also, if you want to have monthly retention, you can modify as per your requirement, right? For example, for now, I just want daily and weekly retention. I don't want to have monthly and yearly retention because you know that this may involve involves the cost factor as well. So just keep those things in mind and just do the things as per your needs and requirements. Okay, I'm clicking on the next option. And yes, we need that online data transfer over the network. So I'm clicking on the next option. And here you can see that system will say that there is a F volume over there, and these are your policies, and the type is files and folders. I'm finishing up my task. Now system has created a schedule over here, right? So the schedule will work according to its times and conditions. For example, I want to backup for at this point of time. So for that, I am going to backup now option, because to demonstrate that how system will backup to Azure vaults, and then how you will recover if the data has been lost. Okay, so now I am going to backup now option just to demonstrate. As you can see that system will just allows you, it allows you files and folder option, because you did not selected system state and any other options. Okay, that's fine. Go to next. Okay, if you have taken if you want to take the backup, and let's say for example you want to retain this backup for some days. For example, today it's August 11th, 11th of August. So for how long you want to retain this backup now option, as you are taking the backup now. For example, you are just going to demonstrate this thing. So it's better to just mention a few things over here. For example, I want to retain it till the 24th of August this month. That's fine, because I'm just demonstrating this thing. Okay, fine. So it will say that your data folder will be backed up. Okay, fine. So backup now. So all the snapshot of your volumes will be transferred to the Azure Recovery Services vaults. It says that system is generating your backup, and its size may differ, because as you know that there come some encryption factors, other things as well. Okay, it says job completed, and I'm just closing this thing. For example, the data on our target server that gets deleted through any means, maybe accidentally, maybe intentionally, unintentionally, whatever the mod is concerned. First of all, you see that, for example, last time the system has taken this backup at this point, this time, because this is, that time where this server belongs. So the system has taken this point of backup. For example, somebody comes and they delete the data from this folder. I am permanently deleting this file. Yes, fine. Okay, so how would you recover this folder? Because you have created the Azure Recovery Services vault, and you have synced the vault through your Microsoft Azure Backup Agent, and you backed up your files and folder data on the vault. So you don't need to be worried about that. So what would you do? Just come over here and recover the data. Okay. Have you registered another server with the same credentials, or maybe the backup was on the same server? For example, the backup was on the same server. So I'm clicking on the next option. What kind of backup was that? We know that it was files and folders backup. and you can recover the whole volume as well. In case of volume, you have to select the whole entire volume from the list, right? And if you don't want to select the entire volume, just select individual files and folder. But you may not select the system store state because when you was creating that vault, you did not mention that option. So I am clicking on the individual files and folders and clicking on the next and let the backup agent know that what is the volume. Okay, so I am selected this volume, and meanwhile, system is recommending me a few things that the available backups are on Friday, 11th of August at this time. Do you want this one? If you are if you have other backups as well, for example, you have put a schedule as well. So system will take the backup 3 times a day as well. So you may have other times as well per day, right? So for example, every day your system is taking the backup from the server and putting to the ports. So you have to select the backup as per your requirement. So here I just can see only one square here. If you are having other backups, you will see more squares just like this one. Okay, fine. I'm clicking on this option and the time was this one. Okay, I want to mount a temporary drive from the Azure. Okay, I'm clicking on the mount option and you will see that the system will show you a temporary mounted drive so that you can recover your lost data from that temporary mounted drive and put the data to its exact location. So it says that the original drive is F. I have mounted a temporary volume for you, which is G volume. Okay, I want to browse the volume. Okay, so this is your data folder. Yes, this is my folder. What is the object? For example, this was the object I have lost. I'm just copying up the object from the mounted drive and going to the this PC option, and I'm putting this file in my exact location, right? And once I have done my job, I'm just unmounting this temporary drive. Okay, fine. Yes, I have recovered. And here you go. Now I'm closing the agent. And if I go to the drive and the folder, you can see this data has been recovered. So this is all about how you recover your important data workloads from Azure Recovery Services Vault through your Microsoft Azure backup agents, right? So if you have any questions, you may ask, please. You can see there is a Q&A option in the chat box. If you want to ask any question, you are more than welcome. Okay, so one more thing I want to uh, tell you guys that as you know that we are running MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room, and that will help you a lot to improve your skills regarding Microsoft technologies. Maybe you are a learner, or maybe you are some person who is working on some job roles. So in both cases, you may join our Microsoft Community Pakistan Learning Room. Let me share the link with you guys. Just give me some time so that I can share my screen.
Yes, Gulnaz, I
Okay.
already shared in the chat.
Okay, that's fine. That's good. So this is linked to our, this is a shortened link. We have shortened it by a bit.ly platform. So this is the community of so many experts who will help you if you want to ask any queries, technical queries, on-job queries. Maybe you are a student, maybe you are a learner as well. And this is uh, the link to the Microsoft Learn community, which is based on diverse experts who can help you uh, to any kind of difficulty, so that you may not feel any hassle during your works, maybe during your Microsoft Learning journey, etc. So thank you very much for joining today's session. Thank you, Usman.
Thank you, Gulnaz. Thank you very much for giving a lot of knowledge about the Microsoft Azure backup, and it was really nice to learn from you because it's very important section. This is very important topic. Take the backup. So thank you very much, Gulnaz, for all the things. So guys, thank you very much everyone for joining this session, and hopefully we will conduct another session and we will update you onto the Microsoft Learning Room and MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room, and also in our different social media platforms. Thank you very much. If you have any question, please feel free to reach us into the Microsoft MCT Community Pakistan Learning Room. Thank you and have a good night.